Hi, hello, and how are you? My name is Asparagus. This is my YouTube channel, Asparagus Reading, and today we're going to be talking about all the books that I've received in the last few months or purchased or whatever. I'm going to be honest, because I haven't been tracking, I probably will forget a book or two and pop up later or just put it in the description. But I do have a nice little stack here. You can kind of see some of the titles. These two back here don't count, they're just here because they're part of my TBR. I'm gonna try to give a description of these, but since it's a pretty decent stack, I might just go through it very quickly. Let's get to the book haul. First one we have here is A Little Book on Form by Robert Haas. This is a required reading that I have for my creative writing poetry class I have for this semester. That's the only reason why I bought it. I'm pretty sure once the semester is over, I'm going to look into future classes to see if this is needed again. And if not, I'm probably going to donate it because my school has a couple bookshelves where you can donate books. I thought it'd be kind of cool to put this with the English major books to see if anyone needed it in the future instead of spending money on it. This is basically just a book about poems and the different types of poems and their form and things like that. I'm gonna be honest, the way this is written is incredibly confusing. It's really weird. So I don't really do a lot of readings, and it seems like we don't really have to because we have probably discussed this book once since school started. For the most part, she tends to summarize and gives us information anyway, so it's like, why did I spend money on this if we're not gonna read it? So yeah, I don't really use this. I mean, I might reference it for find like information about the poem before I write the poem, but for the most part, a waste of my time and money. Next I have here is Spoiler by Olivia Dade. As many of you know, I love Olivia Dade. I'm trying to go through her backlist, and if you know what this is about, this is a new adult romance following Marcus and April. Marcus is an actor in a very famous show. I think the closest comparison would be Game of Thrones, I think. And he also happens to be a fan fiction writer, where most people actually don't know that. I think only his closest friends know that. And his fan fiction is actually fairly popular. But see, he also uses this time to kind of write his frustrations about the show because he doesn't really like what they're doing with the characters or the plot. So he'll kind of, this is what I wish would happen, and he put it in fan fiction. Obviously, if you were to do that in real life and you got caught, you get in some serious trouble. Well, at least I feel like I'm not really sure if you can get in trouble. I feel like morally it's wrong. I'm not really sure what the terms of that. I'm not an actor. I don't really know. And April is a hardcore fan, and she also has her own fan. Why cannot speak? She also has her own hidden fanfic and cosplay hobbies and interests. And I think one day she posts a picture of her latest costume creation and it goes viral. Love to see it. But as you know, society, being a plus size woman and being a woman in general, people don't fit. They don't know how to handle it. They're just disgusting. And so they made some very terrible comments. And the actor, Marcus, he sees it and he's like, dude, she's hot. Love the costume, love your love and support and everything else for the show. Love to see it. He's like clapping back, and then he's like, "You want to go on a date?" Because like, he's actually genuinely interested in her. So they do go on this date eventually, and he quickly realizes he wants a little bit more with her, other than being a actor fan kind of relationship, and it's more than just a publicity stunt. Like he actually wants to do this, and eventually he discovers that she is one of his closest friends through fanfiction because they know each other by their fanfiction usernames, but they don't know each other in real life. He knows before she does, and he keeps that as a secret. I hate this. I love the trope of like having that secret identity, but I hate that one of them always knows before the other and keeps it a secret because then it leads to a big fight. And so his career is on the line because of what he's writing, what he's doing. It's a very fun, lovely romance, and I just loved how like it really embraced the fanfiction world, and it was fun. Another Olivia Day that I have here is Teach Me, which is a much shorter book in comparison to this one. This is about two teachers who started romance. He has moved to this town because he wants to be close to his daughter. I think him and his daughter's mother are separated. And unfortunately, this school, for some reason, just has a lack of space. So her and him end up having to share classrooms. He's interested in her. He wants a relationship with her, but she's kind of like cold and guarded. Not like in a mean way, kind of just like she just wants to protect her heart and protect other people and kind of just focus on her own things. And so he's kind of just pushing to prove to her that he's serious and that he would like to be with her and try to make this work. Despite all the, I think, like coworkers backlash and comments that they make about her and him, and I think some other kind of conflict going on. So, haven't read it yet. It shouldn't be that difficult. It's very short, and I already know this author's writing, but you know, as you know me, I procrastinate my TBRs. The next book we have here is The Bone Spindle by Leslie Vedder. This is a Sleeping Beauty retelling. It's also gender bent. And so instead of Miss Sleeping Beauty being on the sleeping curse, we have Mr. Prince Briar, and we have Fee, and then we have Shane. So Shane is a tough as dirt warrior who likes cracking skulls, pretty girls, and doing things her own way. And then Fee is a bookish treasure hunter with a knack for ruins and riddles who definitely doesn't believe in true love. And so I think one day they're, doing their usual treasure hunting destination things, and she pricks her finger on this cursed thorn or cursed spindle, and she ends up having the prince's soul kind of tied to her so they can kind of communicate to each other. And so she and Shane are now on this quest to break the curse and save the kingdom from the curse and the big villain. Love to see it. I'm a little sad though because I thought these two were gonna have a romance, and literally in the description, that's not what happens. I mean, maybe there is some, but in the description it talks about falling in love with the prince, and I'm like, boo! I was here for the gays and the gays only. I'm excited to read this. I really love fantasy and I love retellings. Why'd I say it like that? I love retellings. I just, again, procrastinating my TBR. The next book I have here is The Black Oak Left Standing by Juliana Goodman. This is a YA contemporary fiction. A little bit of mystery. Let me get the character's name really quickly. So, Bo has dreams of being an artist and leaving Chicago projects. But after her older sister Katya is killed by an off-duty police officer, now Bo needs to find out what happened to her sister, clear her name. And she needs to go find the only witness to the murder, which is Katya's no-good boyfriend, who is all of a sudden gone missing. So it seems like a lot of hot mess is going on because now the death is being ignored. No one is really talking about it, like the many deaths of other black women in the world and wrongfully killed. So Bo and her friend decide to go looking for answers about what happened to her sister and where the missing boyfriend is. But obviously, it's a dangerous world, a dangerous process to do so, especially if it's true that her sister was killed by an off-duty cop. There's a possibility of, crooked cops trying to hush her and whatever they're involved in. And also because, as a black woman, the world is not necessarily the safest for us. So, yeah. I'm really interested in reading this. I'm sure it's going to be a very impactful, emotional, and important read. But because I am not necessarily in the headspace to be reading this right now, I have not done so. So, this might take me a little bit to actually sit down and read. And I might even take my time reading it just to protect my own mental health. Next books I have here are actually going to be parts of sets, parts of series. The first three are Fairy Tale volumes 1 through 3. I decided to start collecting some manga. Not a great decision because I don't have enough space. A lot of manga series that I'm interested in are incredibly long, and your girl does not have the space for that. No storage. So I probably should have waited a little longer to do this, but you know how the book buying hobby is. You can't say no once it's in your hand at the store, and end up buying all three. I've already read. Well, I haven't read. I watched the show. I can't confirm that I finished it. It's been a couple years, so I honestly can't remember if I did finish it. But I did watch the show. I have not read these yet. Then some more manga I got here. Attack on Titan. I already have 1 through 5 like right there. And so I got these from Pangobooks and somewhere else. I can't remember where the other one I got. This is 6, 9, 10, 12. Obviously not in order, but from what I'm seeing, the first 10 to 15 I can't really buy in stores. Every store I go to, they don't have it. It's always 25 to 34, I think. Whatever the last volume is, they have 15 copies of each, but then anything under 25, you're lucky to find some. So I've been buying them secondhand. So yeah, I've already completed the show. I was told the show was over, but apparently there's going to be some more, I think next year, and I'm just it's starting to feel like there's 5 endings. So I'm very curious to see what's going to happen because, like I said, as far as I knew, the show was over and it already finished where the book has ended. But apparently there's going to be more, so I'm like, how are we going to expand beyond that? I don't know. And last manga that I have is Tokyo Ghoul Volume 1. The person that was selling some of the other ones that I bought happened to have this, and I was like, ooh, I like Tokyo Ghoul. I really do. It's been a while since I've seen it. Might need a rewatch, might need a little reread, and so I got it. Next book I have is Jeanette McCurdy's memoir, I'm Glad My Mom Died, which is a heartbreaking, very honest, very raw memoir of her life before, during, and after her time as a childhood actress on the shows that we best know her as, playing the role of Sam Puckett on iCarly and Sam and Cat. She has been in many other things, but those are like the most well-known things that she's known for. And I think that is what she talks about the most in this book. I have not read it yet. It is on my TBR for October. But I think everyone and their mama and their grandmama and their dog and their fish and their pet and their plant has given this book 5 stars. Anyways, this is something I'm really interested in reading. Again, this is going to be a very hard, emotional, impactful read. And I think I need to be in the right headspace to do so, because I feel like I'm going to be very upset about what things happen in here, and maybe even cry and feel very bad for her. But also very excited for her to overcome these things and to be in such a place where she is ready and comfortable to expose all these things and discuss it with the world and to be on her next adventure. Next book I have here is going to be some contemporary romances, and that is, one of them is For Better or Worse by Erin LaRosa. This follows 2 chefs who are now going to be co-hosting a competitive reality cooking TV show. She's really excited for it because it'll be a real hot shot, a really big jump, a really good thing for her to be in the top tier foodie scene. Like, she could get really famous of this. It could really boost her career. But then she finds out she's co-hosting with Leo O'Donnell. She's not excited because he's a jerk. He's rude and just a hot mess. She's not a fan. And turns out, she doesn't know this yet, turns out that what he has done wasn't intentional. It just seems that the stress and the anxiety and other things going on in his life, and maybe some clumsiness, has caused some issues that made her not like him. And so these things happen while the show is rolling. It gets caught on camera, and you know, for the drama, for the views, they're gonna put that out in the world. So at one point, Nina just quits. She's done on live TV. Oh, I guess it is live. Okay, she just quit. She's done. She couldn't deal with them anymore. She's like, I gotta go. And, well, unfortunately for them, paparazzi and fans and entertainment industry go wild with this information, and it all of a sudden becomes a secret romance they might have had, and people are shipping them and discussing them, and it's a whole hot mess. And I think they end up having to play along with some of the things to continue their career. I'm not totally sure. It sounds really interesting, sounds really fun. It sounds like a lot going on. Some, like, the terms of description, the first 4 paragraphs sound like something that's going to happen in, like, this percentage, you know? But then, like, the last 2 paragraphs is going to be like the rest of the book. So I'm very curious to see how that plays out. The next book I have here is Set on You. So this follows a curvy fitness influencer and a firefighter who are currently sharing the same gym, and they end up fighting over some equipment, which I don't understand why, because, like, there's so many gyms and so many equipment you could do, like, just take your turn. Anyway, there's some kind of rivalry going on between them. Not a really big fan. And then they unexpectedly run into each other at an engagement party, and maybe the wedding. No, just the engagement party, because things happen leading up to the wedding. Because I do believe some of their film members are getting married to each other, which they did not realize until then. And leading up to the wedding, they are spending more time together, because, you know, wedding events, and also in the gym. And they realize, like, oh, you know what? Maybe there's more to this person than I originally thought. Maybe they're not as bad, and maybe I shouldn't really be fighting them. And so, a little romance happens. I'm very curious to see what happens in this, because I don't think I've read a book with a fitness influencer or a social media influencer in a while. And I like firefighter romances. And I've heard lots of good reviews about this. Okay, so another one that's kind of romance, but, like, not this kind of romance, more like fantasy, gothic romance. And that is Belladonna by Alvin Grace. This came out recently. Again, new adult fantasy, gothic romance. This is about a girl named Signa who's living with, like, a family who are the guardians of her. And a lot of hot messages going on. Someone has died. A spirit is coming back, talking about they're being poisoned. Something else is going on with the brother. It just seems like the family is in danger. And Signa decides to kind of go out and see what she can to stop this danger. And try to hunt down the killer of the family members that have passed. I don't know if they die in the book or like before the book started, like off page. And in the process of doing that, she has to form an unfortunate alliance she's not really want to have with Death himself. And he's kind of just making her life miserable. She's not having a great time working with him. But some way, somehow, they start forming a very powerful connection. And it seems that they're gonna fall in love. I'm slowly getting back into being a fantasy girly. As you know, I've been reading a lot of romances, and I'm getting back into fantasy, so maybe this will be one of the ones that I pick. And the last book that I have here is actually probably not gonna have much romance in it because it is a mystery thriller. Invisible Girl by Lisa Jewell. So this is a bunch of different things centering around this man named Owen Pick. Mr. Owen Pick, I don't know what's going on with you, but everything seems to be leading up to you, okay? All fingers point to you. So, a girl recently has gone missing after being released from some, hospital or facility. Last person to see him is Owen Pick. There are some accusations of a teacher that has done some sexual misconduct and harassment, and the accusations are against Mr. Owen Pick, so he's on suspension from his job. And a little girl has been making some accusations and talking about how she's uncomfortable because a man has been following her around and asking some creepy questions. Lo and behold, the man is Owen Pick. But every time we talk to Mr. Owen Pick, all of a sudden it's not me, I didn't do that, I don't know what you're talking about. So, I'm assuming you're going to be in Mr. Owen Pick's perspective, or maybe, at least I'm assuming, maybe it's going to be third person, I don't know. As we find out whether or not it's actually Owen doing these things, where this missing girl has gone, and who exactly Mr. Owen is. I feel like this is going to be a very interesting read. I think only 3 people I follow on Goodreads has read it, so I'm very curious to see where I fall with it. I'm also a little concerned about the mental health rep. I'm pretty sure there'll be some mental health issues with the girl that went missing, and oftentimes thrillers don't do that very well, so there's that. I'm probably going to be reading this in October, maybe even earlier than October, just because I'm really in the mood for some spooky vibes. I want to be spooked. I want to be chilled. I want to be concerned. I don't know. Which is really interesting because I can read this, but then reading Black Girls Left Standing is a completely different type of chill and spook, and I'm not ready for that. So, I'm thinking of doing a vlog for this. I don't know why, but of all the books I want to read up next, my mind was do a vlog for Invisible Girl. With that being said, that is all the books that I have for you today. That's going to be the end of this video. Let me know if you've read any of these books. If not, let me know about any books that you've recently hauled. If you have not hauled any books, maybe you're just not a reader, drop a book emoji down below. And with that being said, thank you guys. Have a good day, good night, good evening, good morning, whatever time it is where you are, and I'll see you in the next one.